Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam to all of you. We will
Hare
continue
Krishna
with
Prabhuji,
Jnana.
Dandavat Pranam to you. Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji. We will continue our journey with understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. Today we shall be covering chapter number 14, the three modes of material nature. We had been talking about three
Prabhuji, your
modes.
voice is a bit low. Can you
Let me see. Is it okay now?
a little better, Prabhuji? Yes.
Some problem with the connectivity over here. I'm
Okay.
sorry. So, before we proceed with today's chapter, let us pray to Shri Radha Govindi, the presiding deity at the ISKCON temple, Mangaluru, Kulai, and also pay our obeisances to His Grace Shri Namnis Das Prabhuji, the temple president, who has facilitated us to be hearing the message of Lord Krishna here online. So, Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjan Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtai Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedant Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharne Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashad Deshtarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakt Vrinda He Krishna Karna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा टू ऑल devotees present here. So the chapter is Guru Traya Vibhag Yoga, or the three modes of material nature. First time Lord Krishna talked about three modes of material nature in chapter number 7, and while he was talking about knowledge of the absolute, and in that he mentioned in 13.22, he mentioned the Purush Prakriti Sthohi, Bhunkte Prakriti Gyan Gudan, Karanam Gud Sangasya, Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu, Karanam Gud Sangasya, Sangosya, Sad Asad Janma, Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. That means because of contact with the three modes of material nature, person gets repeated birth and death. That means the cause of repeated birth and death was our association with the three modes of material nature. So then in 14th chapter and in the end of the chapter 13, he mentioned that how to get dissociated. We must get dissociated with the three modes of material nature in order to know the science of Krishna or develop devotional service. Now in chapter 14, he's telling how to get how to prevent the conditioning of soul by coming in contact with the three modes of material nature. And not only that, he will also tell about many symptoms, the ultimate fate when of a person who is in a particular type of mode, and ultimately he is also mentioning about his opulences in a brief. So the blessed Lord said, again I shall declare to you. Emphasis is on again, listen to me, hear me, and I am proclaiming, or I am telling Lord. That means one, as a devotee, we must be very, very receptive to listening from or hearing from Supreme Personality of Godhead, not really, but yes, our spiritual master. And when we listen, then we develop some kind of conviction and faith, and then only devotional service can begin. So Lord says here, again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained to supreme perfection. So this is the best of the knowledge. This is a proclamation of the Lord. In fact, why he's telling this thing again, because he wants that we should go back to Godhead. This is which is our real home, and knowledge must come from the right source. And who could be a better source than Lord Himself? Here we in fact, in the disciplic succession, we pay equal obeisance, but rather more obeisance than the Lord himself to our spiritual master, because he is a representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is eternally involved in most confidential service of Lord. And moreover, he is Tattvadarshi. So respect and the respect to hearing should be given to in equal degree, or rather higher degree, to spiritual master as compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. But here Lord himself is proclaiming that your eternal nature is your nature. You are Satchit Ananda. But we have forgotten, because of contamination by three modes of material nature, our own real nature, and our soul is covered or rather conditioned by three modes of material. Now, he is going to tell how to transcend this mode, from this three modes of material nature, and it can happen only through the knowledge. In next verse, Lord says, by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature, which is like my own nature. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation, nor disturbed at the time of dissolution. So one has to rise from the mode of ignorance to the mode of passion, from mode of passion rise to the mode of goodness, and from mode of goodness attain to the transcendental nature. That is, one has to attain transcendental nature as Lord possesses, like the Lord himself. This is called Shuddha Sattva state. Lord is above three modes of material nature. We have learned this many times before also, because he is the creator and controller of three modes of material nature. And beyond these three modes of material nature is the transcendental nature, which is also called as Shuddha Sattva stage. What Lord is saying here, go beyond transcend the three modes of material nature, attain this transcendental nature, which is my own nature. Then you will not be born again, or you will get freedom from the cycle of birth and death. This is a picture of Vaikuntha. Everybody is in a state of bliss, and the body of every devotee here is that of Lord, like Lord Krishna himself. You can see here these are the companions of or devotees of who are serving Lord Krishna in the Vaikuntha, and their body is spiritual. This is transcendental. This is what Lord is mentioning here. The freedom of cycle from birth and death can be attained only when one attains transcendental nature. Otherwise, what will happen in mode of goodness, we'll come to know in subsequent verses. Sarvayoneshu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yah tasam brahma mahadionir aham bij pradaprita. So it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Lord glances at the soul, and based on the karma and also the previous desires, one gets a life form or the body form which is facilitated by the material nature. So he says that he is the seed giving, because his glance is compared to seed giving father. Brahma is said to be Pitama, but Lord Krishna is said to be Param Pitama. So we are basically in the lineage of that divinity, and we are born because of Lord Krishna's glance. So he is a person, he is a Supreme Lord, is a person who gives up this life, and not human being, but all the living entities. And we know there are 84 lakhs of species, out of which animal are 31. Then plants and trees, animals and beasts are 31. Then plants and trees are 20. Insects 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs, and birds are 10 lakhs. Then aquatic life is 9 lakhs, and human life is only 4 lakhs. So each one of these 84 lakhs species is getting life because Krishna gives them life by his glance. And what kind of body one attains depends on our karma and, of course, our unfulfilled desire. But when person is born, so I mean, we are talking about human person, that he's in pristine, pure state. The soul is completely, free from all kind of contamination. But as soon as it comes in contact with material nature, it becomes conditioned or contaminated. So everybody, all these 84 lakh species belong to Lord Krishna himself. The soul is does not have any, initially soul does not have any influence of material nature. It is pure initially. This is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 26 of Canto 6 rather. It is mentioned that Swakshatam Abhikartam Sandhatam iti chetasah. That means you are swaksh, that is, you are pure and clean. Abhikar means that you are without any kind of vikar or any kind of any kind of contamination. And Shantatam, that is, you are eternally peaceful. So this is the basic nature of soul initially when person is born. But as soon as, based on the previous desires and karmas, one attains certain mode of material nature by coming in contact with material nature. So material mode of nature. So this is how soul gets contaminated and ultimately it becomes influenced by the three modes of material nature. Srila Prabhupada gives in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. When there is rain, the rain falls, then as soon as the rain falls and comes to the level of the top of the mountain, it is pure. But as soon as comes lower in the lower atmosphere, there is a lot of dust particles and pollution, then it gets contaminated. But when it falls on the ground, it becomes in contact with earth and becomes totally muddy. Similarly, soul is totally pure, like the raindrop when it is leaving the clouds. But as soon as it comes in with contact with the earth or the three modes of material nature, it becomes contaminated. So why it becomes contaminated? The next question comes, or becomes conditioned, because soul wants to enjoy independent of Krishna. Soul gets, then it becomes conditioned. Otherwise, soul does not ask super soul whether I should do it or not. That is not happening. That is why soul becomes contaminated. So in this condition, we cannot blame Lord for our miseries and happiness, as we discussed earlier. And Prabhuji had asked that Antaratma ki awaz. When people say that we have got an inner voice which says that this should be done or this should not be done. So we have to understand that mind has got three functions: thinking, willing, and feeling. And intelligence has the function of discrimination, what is good and not. So not the soul, it is the intelligence, or the intelligence which is responsible for that Antaratma ki awaz. So why does one suffer? We have already discussed yesterday this point also, that living entity initially is transcendental. It is pure. It is when it comes in contact with material nature, it becomes conditioned. And under a spell of three modes of material nature, it acts accordingly. Then result is either distress or there is happiness. So this is what is happening here. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Bhagavadgita 14.2. You can see that here we can see the all kind of all forms of life here. That beginning from aquatic lives through then there are surface life forms. Thereafter there are ground forms, and there are birds which is fly in the sky, then 2 to 4 legs, and ultimately human being again the highest. But all belong to Krishna, because Paramatma, this super soul is shown here, is present in the heart of each and every creation. And he is Bij Pratap, because he has made them have life. Yes, anybody would like to read these slokas? Hare Krishna. 14.5.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dehi dehinam avyayam. That means that the soul is eternal. It is not, in fact, material. So Sattvam, Rajas, Tam, Iti, Gunah, Prakriti, Sambhava. Material nature consists of three modes, that is goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with the nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. We can see here the same picture is given here again. We can see that Lord Krishna is controller of and the creator of three modes of material nature. And this is how, like puppets, in the hands of these three modes, the living entities act according to their mode of material nature. So that means the modes control how we act, and our actions bring about reactions. And what reactions are? Reactions may be in the form of happiness or in the form of. But Krishna is ultimately the controller and originator of three modes of material nature. Now, yes, Mataji, continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकम् अनामयं सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानासङ्गेन च नग. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness. Now, Lord is going to describe how this conditioning takes place and what are the symptoms in different mode of material nature. This is a now this picture is about this is a part of a drama. We'll show it afterwards. It is a video, in fact. So, O sinless one, the mode of goodness, illuminating. Illuminating means that it provides a lot of knowledge and it frees one from all sinful reaction. One person who is in mode of goodness, we have come through many life forms in the past, and we have carried the burden of many sinful activities. So now the activities will result into reaction to those activities. So sinful reactions are nullified if one is in mode of goodness. And those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness. So as we were discussing yesterday, that even the mode of goodness is not enough. And the prominent example of a person in mode of goodness are scientists and philosophers and poets and like these people, because they feel that they possess knowledge. These are people who are in mode of goodness. They feel that they possess a lot of knowledge, and they are wise, and they become proud of this attribute. Moreover, they are also happy because they are advanced in certain kind of sphere of knowledge, and this happiness and the pride is binding factor, that it results into bondage into the cycle of birth and death again. So because these people, though they are doing some good work, but it is not akarma they are happy because of their achievements. So they are enjoying better living conditions, and the sinful reactions are done away with because they are not involved in many sinful activities. Rather, the reactions which are to happen, or the prarabdha which is to come in this life form, is already nullified because of their good work. But these people have no chance of liberation. Liberation are 6 types of mukti. Devotee does not want any kind of mukti. He wants eternal service, eternal loving devotional service of Lord. So in mode of goodness, what is their destination? We'll come take it up in the next words.
Let's go for a stroll in the countryside. I brought us a healthy picnic lunch. The lean here. So peaceful. Here we can get away from the agitating elements of the city.
So you can see that the two persons, they want to go for a stroll to a countryside, and they find very clean, neat and clean air, environment, and some kind of good patram pushpam phalam to them, and some kind of food, and they are very happy. So this is a state of mode of goodness. A person is full of knowledge, he is happy, he is proud also, and also he is devoid of any kind of sinful reactions because of his pious deeds or sukriti. But these happiness and sense of pride, they are binding. And they create a bondage into the cycle of birth and death. Now, yes, Mataji, Rajo Ragatmaka Vidhi Krishna Sangasam. Would you like to read? Rajo Ragatmaka Kam Vidhi Trishna Sang Sambuddhavam Tan Nivedanti Nivdanati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. Now, what is the state of person who are in mode of passion? They have a lot of desires. There is so much of hankering for material, objects and possessions that they work very hard. When they work very hard, there is economic development and they earn a lot of money. When they earn a lot of money, they fulfill their desires. But desires are never fulfilled. One desire is fulfilled or complete, another desire comes up. So, but what they are seeking happiness in the future, which always evades, which never comes, in fact. So these people also have no chance of any kind of liberation. So they have unlimited desires and longings. They want to possess more and more. Today, I have got one car or a small house, a bigger house, many cars, many shoes, many dress, lot of money, higher positions. So their hankering never stops. And the entanglements keeps on binding. The result is this material bondage creates reactions, and the reaction results into death, and again entry into the cycle of birth and death. So Srila Prabhupada says, now these people are seeking future happiness in the future. Srila Prabhupada says that don't trust the future, trust the present only, because future is uncertain. But they are seeking happiness in the future. So they are also not, they don't have any.
Supposed to take her to Vegas this weekend. Lose your money, Vegas. You'll be rich. You'll be rich. That's one pitch. Your chest.
So this part shows that how a person is passionately attached to working very hard, getting lot of money, and wants lot of enjoyment also out of that money. So this is in mode of passion, in fact. Tamastva ajnana jambidhi mohanam sarvadehinam parmada dalasaya nidrabis tan nibantanati Bharata. O son of Bharat, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. Now, the person is in the first. Let us listen to this video.
Sure. Big stacks of friends. Plays a video game. Watch some TV. That's crazy. Just shut out the world. Yeah, good, huh?
So this in video clip, you saw that persons are intoxicated, they are smoking, they are hankering for some kind of entertainment, maybe probably talking about television and all those things. So these people are crazy, they are indolent, they are mad, they are in fact always in a state of sleepiness, and they don't work, they are inactive in fact, but they are deriving some kind of happiness, and happiness of taking drinks or maybe intoxication, but that is not really real happiness. In fact, they are involved in bikarma. They are acting against the prescribed injunctions of the scriptures. So they are they are the worst in the worst state, in fact. So these people again have no chance of any kind of liberation. But whatever they are doing, it is not only bad or harmful or detrimental to themselves, but also for all others who come in their contact. Now, so these are the three verses in which symptoms of persons in mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance are described. Yes, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajakarmani bharata jnanam avritya tutama pramade sanjayatyuta. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radha. The mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions him to the fruits of actions, and the ignorance to madness. So you can see here the picture of three state. This upper picture shows the mode of goodness, which is so joyful and multicolored, and everybody is busy worshipping Lord Krishna. These are some of the demigods you can see here. So they are in the mode of goodness. Second picture shows about passion, conditions one to fruitive actions. So they are a lot of passion here, activity, killing, ruling, and all other kind of activities which are related to mode of passion. So these activities, as we just now discussed, in mode of goodness, the activities are in fact also binding, but there is knowledge, there is illumination, and also not only illumination, but also there is no sinful reaction. So people are happy and proud of their possessions. They compare themselves with others. That becomes a bondage. In mode of passion, it is all fruitive activities which is causing bondage, because they are not concerned with the chanting or doing any pious activity in relation to Supreme Personality of Godhead or Sukriti. They are concerned with sense gratification of their own self, or fulfillment of their desires through working hard and by a lot of endeavor or through economic development. And so what is the result? Then in mode of goodness, there is happiness, there is knowledge. In mode of passion, the person is involved in lot of endeavor, economic development, fulfillment of desires, and ultimately bound to the cycle of birth and death. And ignorance, it is totally madness, and knowledge is covered by madness only. There is no knowledge, there is no karma, there is only bikarma, and the activities in mode of ignorance are all detrimental. You can see here. 14.10, Lord says, sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode. Now, how these transcendental, these three modes of material nature act, and what is their predominance at variable time of day or night, that is mentioned here. Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata. And sometimes the mode of goodness defeats the passion, and at the other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So these three modes, in fact, are not always constant. In the Brahma Muhurti, the mode of goodness is very much prominent. There may be some degree of passion, mode of passion, but as soon as one rises and from the puja room, or gets involved in the day-to-day activities or prepares for office, he is in a mode of passion. I have to do these many things, so many targets to be achieved, so many things to be obtained or purchased, or all kind of material entanglement is during the daytime. But sometimes he's thinking good also. So daytime mode of goodness may also be there. Sometimes two modes may be working together. Sometimes one may be prominent, or sometimes maybe by the evening time, person is tired, he is lethargic, he is sleepy, and he wants to enjoy, wants to TV or take some kind of drinks. So he's in mode of ignorance. So this is the effect of ignorance, mode, ignorance, passion, and goodness based upon different times of the day. So Brahma Muhurta period is said to be 1.5 hours before the sunrise. That is a period which is called Brahma Muhurta. So Now, how can we transcend these three modes of material nature? We can see this picture that mind is at the center, and the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are pulling mind to their side. Sometimes two are able to pull mind to one side, then that means mode of passion and goodness. Sometimes passion and ignorance is powerful, and goodness is left behind. So this is what is we are facing day in and day out. So this is happening to us. Verse 11 says the manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. What are the gates of body? We studied these gates. There are 9 gates of body. We studied in earlier chapter. Chapter 3, perhaps. Yes, chapter 3. Karma Yoga. What are the 9 gates of body they are talking about? Anyone?
2 eyes,
Yes, good, Prabhuji. Thank you.
2 ears,
Yeah,
2
nostrils.
nostrils,
6,
mouth,
yes, 7, very nice.
Rabbit,
And then organ of reproduction and organ of evacuation, right? So these are 9 gates. So 9 gates, all the 9 gates are illuminated by knowledge. A person who is in mode of goodness, all 9 gates are illuminated. What does it really mean? It means that person knows very well what action should be done by these sense organs, basically. And he uses these sense organs correctly. And what is the correct use? Correct use is using them for the service of Lord, or using them for service of devotional service of Lord Krishna. So this is another interesting point. There are 9 gates. And in the Vaishnava culture, when the person is leaving the body, the chanting is done, and it is believed that at that time, all 9 gates get closed and the person is totally in a state of trance, right? And there, alongside, we heard about 3 sitting places of lust. What are those 3 sitting places of lust? Yes, anyone?
desire,
3 places of the body where lust sits. Senses, mind, and intelligence. And what are 3 gates to hell? This was also we heard in chapter 3. 3 gates to hell.
okay.
lust, anger, greed.
Yes. So these are 3 gates. 3 gates to hell. A person, lust, anger, and greed. And 3 sitting places of lust are senses, mind, and intelligence. And the 9 gates of human body are, as Prabhuji just now mentioned. So all 9 gates are illuminated with the knowledge. Then there is correct use of these senses, and the correct use of senses means rendering devotional service of Lord through these senses. On verse 12. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop. So this is what we have already discussed. Person wants to possess more and more, works very hard to fulfill his desires, and result is he works 20 hours. He considers that he is the richest person. Actually, he is not doing any devotional service. He is just simply fulfilling his own personal desires and satisfying his own senses. He does not think about worship of Lord at all. So this is the effect of one person who is in the mode of passion. In Nectar of Instruction, there is a verse which says that how our devotional service is destroyed. Those are Atyahara prayasascha. Atyahara means eating too much. Eating too much, eating too much does not mean food only. Collecting too much of knowledge, material possessions, these are atyahara. Prayasascha, too much endeavor. Prajalpo niyamagraha. Prajalpo means talking something which is not devotional matter, or talking mundane things, or discussing mundane things only. And niyamagraha, too much adherence to the rules and regulations, and too much neglect of rules and regulations. So atyahara, prayasascha, prajalpo, niyamagraha, jan sanghash. I mean, association of people who are not Krishna conscious, or association of people who are in a mode of passion or ignorance. Lol, cha lolyam, jan sanghasya cha lolyam. Lolyam is lust for material objects. Shadvir bhakti vinashyati. These are 6 ways by which bhakti, pure bhakti, is vinashyati, means gets destroyed. So what are these 6 things? Atyahar, too much of collection of material objects and food. Prayasascha, too much of endeavor, which this person is involved in. Prajalpo means talking about mundane affairs whole day, not talking about religious matter or spiritual matters. Niyamagraha, too much of adherence to rules and regulations, and also too much neglect of then Jansangarsh means association of people who are non-spiritual, and Lolyam is for material objects. Shadvir Bhakti Vinashati. These are 6 aspects. The Srila Rupa Goswami has given this verse, that these are 6 reasons for, when a person gets devoid of devotional service, or his devotional service is destroyed. So, mode of passion, these are the symptoms ultimately, and in mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. So these are manifestations, how these 3 modes of material nature represent themselves in a person who is under those modes. You can see this person, and this sight is very common in most of the American cities. People under influence of drug, sitting in a very morose position, and they are not. There is no happiness, there is no bliss. They are always intoxicated and addicted to some other. Srila Prabhupada says that in modern times, this kind of addiction, which is mentioned here, addiction is related to enjoyment. In fact, people are addicted to mobile. People are addicted to, watching televisions, watching fictions, and so many things which are not desirable to be watched, in fact. And people get this kind of addiction in Kali Yuga is more detrimental than drugs, because drug menace is gradually reducing now. The addiction to so many things in social media, in television, in mobile phones, in computers, so they are addiction. And those people who are addicted to this extent, they are in a state of ignorance. There is madness, they are crazy. We know medically, it is proved that the too much of screen time results into damage to the brain cells. Memory is lost. There is irritation. So the behavior is changed. So many things, and even probably some kind of abnormal growths may also occur because of electromedical field, that EMF, this is called. So that electromagnetic field, sorry, not medical, electromagnetic field, which is created by these mobile phones. And that because mobile phone is constantly communicating with the towers, and these are called electromagnetic waves, which damage our brain also in many ways. So addiction of any kind is bad, and that is a sign of ignorance. And when one dies in the motor, now what happens when these are the effect, and now how the modes, different modes predominate with the time frame of the day. Now, what happens when a person dies in the mode of goodness? He attains to the pure higher planets. Before I explain this, can anybody tell what is happening here in this picture? Does anybody know what is happening here in this picture? Well, it is a pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Brahma, when he was born, then his son was Daksha. He asked his son Daksha. He was Daksh means he was very, very competent and a wonderful leader, capable of doing all good things to his citizens. So Daksha, was instructed by Brahmaji to populate the universes. So Daksh had initially 10,000 sons. Now, these sons, they were asked by Daksha to go to Narad Muni and seek his blessings and populate the universe. So after getting this instruction from his father, Daksha, 10,000 sons go to Narad Muni. And Narad Muni gives them the lessons in spirituality and speaks of Krishna and gives Krishna consciousness. All of them, after listening Krishna consciousness, they decide not to marry, and they take renounce order of life, and they become sannyasis. On hearing this, Daksh again produces 5,000 boys, or 5,000 boys only, sons. And these sons again are asked to go to Narad Muni, seek his blessings, and populate the universes. But what happens? The elder brothers had already taken a step. They had renounced the family life and they had taken sannyas. So the younger ones, or the 5,000, second set of 5,000 sons, they also take to sannyas. Now, Daksha is knowing all this, what is happening. They are not populating the universe. He gets very much annoyed. So next time there are 51 daughters born to Daksha, and these 51 are again sent to populate the universe. But they also seek Narad Muni's blessings, and the result the same, what happened to their 15,000 sons. So Daksha now, he gives a curse. He curses Narad Muni that you will never have a family of your own, number one, because you have destroyed my family and my plan for populating the universes. So you will never have a family, and you will never have a house of permanent for residence, and you will always be moving around or tottering around the entire globe and all planets endlessly. And this is the curse which Narad Muni, we know Narad Muni never stays in one place. He appears and then disappears again based on the time, circumstances, and the incident. So this is the curse. This is what is going on here. So when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets, that is Brahmalok or Indralok or such lokas only. He does not go to Goloka Vrindavan. We have seen that why one does not go to Goloka Vrindavan, because such a person who is in mode of goodness, when he dies, he is on the earth during his lifetime. He was in a state of pride. He had a lot of happiness, attachment to that happiness, that he has something extraordinary which others do not possess. So this sense of pride and sense of happiness binds him to, but because of Sukriti, he goes to higher planets. Now, when the one dies in the mode of passion, what happens after a person leaves the body? He takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. So we have to be very, very careful during our daytime or nighttime regarding our actions. So result is super soul is watching. What is our intention? Like in this picture, you can see a super soul is watching that this person is very fond of not covering his or her body, wants to remain semi-clad or maybe naked only. So super soul watches, fulfills the desire of this living entity in the next birth by making him a tree or her a tree. So the tree, never wear a cloth. They remain in this naked state for hundreds of years, some of the trees. And similarly, this person is sleeping. He sleeps, say, more than half a day, or maybe 12 hours or 18 hours. Super soul watches this tendency of this person or individual soul and grants next life in the form of a animal who hibernates for 6 months or 3 months and keeps on sleeping. So person, what our mode of material nature is, decides our next form of life. In this picture also, you can see that indiscriminate eating resulting into the life form of a hog or a pig. So a person, similarly, all these things are happening. In a mode of passion, he is eating all kind of things and doing endeavor. He gets accordingly fruitive activities. He gets a life in the earthly planets, where an association of persons who are involved in fruitive activities. So that is the fate at the time of death or ultimate destination of such people. What is that? That is mentioned. And so the mode of goodness, person takes birth in higher planets, enjoys the opulences of higher planets in Indralok or Brahmlok. There are apsaras, there are somras, so much of dance and music, and there is no time for chanting, so thinking of God. So whatever good work or sukriti he has done in mode of goodness during his lifetime, he goes to the heavenly planets. But as soon as this credit balance is zero, he returns to the cycle of birth and death. He is not liberated in mode of goodness. What happens to the mode of passion? But mode of passion also takes birth in the earthly planets and wants to enjoy or fulfill his desires. So he takes birth among people who are involved in fruitive activities, and ultimately he remains bound to the cycle of birth and death. And those who are in the mode of ignorance, they go to animal kingdom. This is the biggest fear of human birth, that degradation into the lower form of life or going to the lower planets. This is the worst danger and worst fear for a human being. So the person is ignorant, and his behavior is like the habits and conduct is like that of an animal. His next life of form is in the animal kingdom only, or lower species form. Karmanah sukratasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasa phalam. By acting in the mode of goodness, what is the fruit or the outcome? By acting in the mode of goodness, one becomes purified. Work done in the mode of passion results in distress, and actions performed in the mode of ignorance result in foolishness. So you can see that mode of goodness, a person becomes purified. He goes to temples, he does worship also, but he is not maybe doing akarma, but because of the pride of knowledge and that possession of some higher values, he becomes proud of himself, becomes very happy because what he possesses, others do not possess, and they result into he becomes purified, and there is no sin also, sinful reaction. In the mode of passion, one becomes results in distress. So mode of passion, we know that there are aristocrats. So many people are there who are very, very rich, and they have all possessions, but are they really happy? They are so much worried about their safety of their wealth or stocks or gold or jewelry and other things. The result is such people are not happy at all, and sometimes such people indulge into some kind of depression, and they commit suicides also. So such work done in the mode of passion results in distress. Always one is not. Like, just take an example of a person who contemplates or drinking some alcoholic drink, right? Then he goes to a pub or bar, then he tastes it, then probably he enjoys for some time, and thereafter he is in a state of anxiety again. When this weekend is coming, so that I can go to bar again and enjoy that kind of drink. So he is always in a state of distress and anxiety. He's never happy, because that happiness which he derived from drinking lasts for a few minutes only, a few hours only. So, and actions performed in mode of ignorance result in foolishness. Foolishness because such person degrade human life, and they go down to lower species form, and they are never happy or satisfied. So, but so person, all the three persons, whether it is in mode of goodness or mode of passion or mode of ignorance, they are ultimately not getting any kind of liberation, and because they are not performing any devotional duty or devotional. But you see, when does this misery begin? In fact, when do we start having some kind of distress or misery? By contemplation. As soon as we contemplate on some material object, it is the beginning of misery. Because we have earlier studied that contemplation leads to attachment leads to lust leads to anger leads to a delusion leads to loss of intelligence, and loss of intelligence lead to ultimately fall down into the material pool. So such persons are never happy, in fact. Now, next verse 14.17 says, from the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. What is the outcome of these three modes? Real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, grief develops. And from the mode of ignorance, foolishness, madness, and illusion develop. So these are the outcome of three modes of material nature. And ultimately, a person is never happy. Srila Prabhupada, in one of the purpose he has mentioned, there are 4 kinds of people. So these people are lazy fool, intelligent fool, lazy intelligent, lazy fool and lazy intelligent, then busy fool and busy intelligent. Out of these, busy fool is the lowest person. Busy fool means like a monkey. Monkey, you see, always he's busy without any business, and he's categorized into this. And the lazy intelligent is the highest category because he possesses intelligence, but he is not exercising that or utilizing that intelligence. So the lazy fool or lazy intelligent, and busy fool and busy intelligent. So these are 4 categories of people which are described. You can see these 3 categories of people here. He's in mode of happiness, and he's anxious and distressed in a miserable condition, and he's in a state of madness or crazy state, intoxicated. Yes, anybody would like to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, what is the destination of such people? This is described in this verse, 14.18. Yes,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ता मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यागुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Hare Krishna.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world. Now, the basic question here is that what is the purpose of this human life? To get out of this world of misery, which is dukhalayam, which is ashashvat, which is full of miseries. And we are basically not in this world. We are in a jail, or we can be compared to be in a jail, or can be compared to be admitted in a hospital. We are diseased state. Our condition is that we are in disease, or we are a criminal, or imprisoned in a jail. So the purpose is, what does a person who is in jail wants? He wants to live immediate freedom from the jail. So this is our status. Presently, we are not aware of our real status. So our real status is that we are suffering in this world. And the sufferings are, or distress or happiness, is our own doing, because we are contaminated by 3 modes of material nature. By coming in, our soul is come in contact with the material nature, gets contaminated, and we are forcibly acting under 3 modes of material nature, and which are binding, giving us pleasure, giving us happiness, sometimes transient happiness or pleasure, and ultimately distress and misery all the time. So we have to get out of this cycle. Now, Lord Krishna is telling how to get out of this cycle in further verses. So 14.18, yes, the next is, sorry. So these are 3 pictures represent, in fact, basically the same thing. People going in the sattva, that the mode of goodness, they are going up, and the mode of ignorance, they are going down into the hellish planets, or the planets of lower animals or kingdoms. So this this is Garbhodakshai Vishnu's ocean, where you can see that Garbhodakshai Vishnu is lying here, and from the navel a stem is rising. Lotus, Lord Brahma is born here. Then he is the Jad Jagat, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu is covered. This ocean is covered with the 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, these gross elements and mind, intelligence, false ego. They are, each layer is getting doubled in the size and 10 times the diameter of previous covering. It is 10 times diameter and also double. Then Lord Shiva is there, Lord Brahma is there, and there Karnavdasha Vishnu is there, who is the cause of all incarnations ultimately. Durga Devi, Durga Devi, Jadanand, these all lower planets, middle planets, and higher planets. So this is earthly planets, Bhulok we can call it. So people are going to Bhuvar Loka, Swarg Loka, Mahar Loka, Jan Loka, Tapo Loka, Satya Loka. So that Lord Brahma's abode is highest here, is Satya Loka. And beyond this Garbhodak ocean or the causal ocean, there is a causal ocean where in which the highest position is that of Goloka Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna resides. So this is just a cosmic presentation. 14.19 says that when you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, when you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. So one has to understand that Krishna is the creator and controller of 3 modes of material nature. He is not influenced or touched by, because he is transcendental. His body is not material. So, but he is the creator of 3 modes, and we as puppets are always are under control of 3 modes of material nature. And our actions, which result into our bondage, are also controlled by our mode, basic mode, whether in goodness, passion, or in the. So Lord Krishna, as I mentioned, is in a transcendental to all these modes. He is in a state of transcendence, that is the Shuddha Sattva state, that is the highest stage. Now, next 3 verses, how to break this chain. This is mentioned here. When the embodied being is able to transcend these 3 modes, he can become free from all kind of reactions. So how to break this chain of 3 modes of material nature, this is described in subsequent verses, in fact. So when this chain is broken, there is no bondage into the cycle of birth and death, and there is no material entanglement also. And this can be achieved in this single life itself. Whereas through Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, we need many births and deaths to attain certain our objective in either Jnana or Karma. And you will remember the verse, Bahunam Janmananam Ante Jnanvan Ma Prapadyate. After worshipping me, after worshipping in many lives and after many deaths, people can understand the Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. He says that such a person is very rare who can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can have liberation in this very life form only. Like, just take an example of sunlight. It does not discriminate. The Lord does not discriminate amongst his creations or living entities. The sunlight is spread all over uniformly, whether it is a stool or a temple or a prasadam or the person who is called a dog eater or chandal. So the God is completely equal to survey. He is equal to each and everyone. So irrespective of varna or ashrama, he is always wishing that everybody should return back to Supreme Personality Godhead or the Supreme Abode. So, in fact, in Krishna consciousness, all are eligible for liberation. All are eligible for getting to the highest abode, that is Goloka Vrindavan, and be with the Lord Krishna. Next verse is, after this kind of freedom, This is the same verse. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, and old age and their distresses and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So this is what we'll skip. You have to skip this one. Arjuna, this is a Lord Srila Prabhupada chanting Nam Sankirtana in London, sorry, New York City, Tompkins Square Park, and lot of devotees used to gather here. And there is a tree where he started. The government of US has put a metallic, label over there stating Prabhupada's name and that he used to chant under this tree. So this is the place which is giving here. So he's in a mode of goodness, happiness, a totally blissful state, and chanting Hari Nam or Lord Krishna's Hari Krishna Mahamantra. Now Arjun inquires, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the mode of? Give me a minute, just a minute, I shall be back. Sorry for. So now Arjuna is convinced that what are the symptoms of three modes of material nature? What is the effect of, and where does a person or outcome, and what is the destination of such persons who are in different modes? After knowing these things, Lord Krishna has already said that one has to transcend the three modes of material nature and be established in transcendence or Shuddha Tattva state to attain my nature or to reach my abode, that is Goloka Vrindavan. So now Arjuna is asking, what are the symptoms of such person who is in a transcendental to these modes? How does he behave and how does he transcend the modes of material nature? In Bhagavadgita chapter 2 also, Arjuna had asked, what are the symptoms and signs of a person who is sthit pragya, sthit dhir? So sthit dhir means one who is equiposed or in a state of equanimity. What are his symptoms? This was asked by Arjuna in second chapter also. Similar question was asked. So what are the symptoms? How does he behave and how does the process of transcending these three modes of material nature? This is the question. Three things are asked. Now Lord is going to answer these in 22 to 25 verses. The Blessed Lord said, he who does not hate illumination, that means does not hate knowledge, is eager, always is a lollium for learning more and more about Lord Krishna. Attachment and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they are disappear. So there are knowledge, attachment, and delusion. Neither he hates, that means he loves them, and when they are not there, he neither longs for them. Why? Because they may be binding, but devotional. If a person is engaged in devotional service, then there is no need for any knowledge, attachment, or delusion. Nor longs for them, who is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond these material reactions of the mode of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain, and looks on a clod, a stone, a piece of gold with the equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged in honor, dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings. Such a man is said to have transcended the modes of material nature. But such a state seems to be very, very difficult and impossible. So, but Krishna once mentioned that abhyas and detachment, abhyas and tyag, that is constant practice and detachment, one can attain this state of transcendence. So, basically in Krishna consciousness, everybody is eligible, but the process is gradual. As you will remember that I gave an analogy of an army officer. When he joins army, he joins at a junior position, but gradually, progressively, he rises to the topmost position. So similarly, in devotional service also, one does not attain goodness, mode of goodness, or mode of transcendence, or mode of Shuddha Sattva state overnight. One has to endeavor continuously, then by mercy of Guru Krishna Kripa Prasad by Bhakti Lata Bees. So only then, by the mercy of the spiritual master, by mercy of Lord Krishna, mercy of Krishna flows through Guru only. So one can succeed in attaining this state of transcendence. So though these are very, very difficult, just take any one point. What does say? Take example of praise and blame, or take example of honor and dishonor. All of us are moved by, when we are honored, we are inflated, and if somebody blames us for something or dishonors us, we immediately react. So all these contradictory states bring about a person who is in mode of goodness, or who has ever risen above the mode of goodness, that is in a Shuddha Sattva state. He is not affected by these dualities of life, or adverse conditions in life. So, verse 26, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते.
Thank you, Mataji. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So even this level of Brahman is partial realization of God. You will remember the analogy of sun god, sun disk, and the sun rays. Similarly, the Brahman effulgence, the Paramatma feature, super soul feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Bhagwan feature. Bhagwan feature possesses all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all fame, all renunciation, all wealth. So these all six virtues are in full, and he is causeless. There is no cause behind Krishna to be there. But Paramatma feature is part and parcel of Lord Krishna. It is a partial, and Ashtanga yogis are reached up to this stage only. And the Brahmavadis and impersonalists, they reach to the level of Brahma Jyoti, which is mere effulgence, like sun rays coming out from the divine transcendental body of Lord Krishna. So their realization is basically incomplete and partial. So Lord says that when one gets engaged in devotional service, then he is able to control his three modes of material nature, and at the most he comes to the level of Brahman realization. That is Brahman effulgence only. Now what happens after that? Brahmano hi pratisthanam amratasya cha. Yes, anybody would like to read? I'm not good at Sanskrit, in fact. So
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji, please. ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठा
ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य
दुःखस्य. And I'm the basis of the impersonal Brahm, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. I'm the basis of the impersonal Brahma. Now it is clearly disclosed that the glow or the radiance of the transcendental body of Lord Krishna is the cause of this Brahman effulgence. So this is what he is mentioning here. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness and which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal. So that means that effulgence is partial realization, as I said, What is the full realization? Pure loving devotional service to Krishna, no reservation, no interruption, and no motivation. Because devotional service, most of the people these days, when go to temple, they ask something in return for the services rendered to the deity. So that is ahetiki apratihata, that is uninterrupted and unmotivated. We are not motivated. If I pass, I will give you 1,000 rupees prasadam or something. So these are motivated worship. So Lord says, Savai punsam paro dharmo eto bhaktir adhokshaji. The purest form ahetiki and apratihata sa yatma prasidhati. That is the worship which gives immense pleasure to the Lord, immense pleasure to the soul, which is without any motivation, which is without any interruption. That is the dharma or the highest occupation of living entity. So one person who is engaged may gradually realize Brahman stage, but then he has to proceed to the pure devotional service of Lord. So this is the process of transcendence Lord Krishna is mentioning here. Sorry, I think this is the last slide. Yes. So this is the last slide. So Brahman effulgence is not complete realization. It is partial realization of God form, and must seek perfection of this life. That is the perfection in the goal of achieving the goal of life, and that is pure devotional service of Lord, which is continuous without any desire for liberation, without any other kind of reward, or without any kind of interruption. So we come to end of this chapter.
Prabhuji, just one query.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you please explain once again the analogy between the sun effulgence, sun disk, and this?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, sure. No, look, I'm a mundane
Specific
person.
analogy, which is analogous to which one?
Yes, I'll just tell you, Prabhuji. Now, there are sun rays. When there is sun, we can see that there is a sun disk, and the sun rays are coming from it, right? But a person who is more inquisitive, he would like to know what is the cause of radiance or sun rays within the sun itself. What is the cause? So the analogy is like this. When there is a sun, there is a sun god within the sun, and then there is a sun disk, and there are sun rays. So the sun god is compared to Bhagwan feature of Lord. The sun disk is compared to Paramatma feature of Lord, and sun rays are compared to Brahman effulgence. Now, a person who is Mayavadi impersonalist, he wants to merge into the Brahman effulgence. He does not know where from this effulgence is arising or coming out. He is not interested in knowing, because there is no activity involved. There is no rasa involved in his worship. He wants to merge into the sky, the vacuum. He says that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Now, this is a contradictory statement. When Lord has created Brahma, or Brahma is a creation of Lord, then how his creation, the Jagat, could be a Mithya? And second stages of yogis, mystic yogis, who are Ashtanga yogis. They are meditating on the Paramatma form or the super soul form of the Lord, which is equivalent to the sun disk. But the devotees are looking for something beyond sun disk, and they are looking for the sun god, who is Bhagwan himself. Swayam Bhagwan. Bhagwan means the person or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is imbibed with all 6 opulences. No other. He has got 64 attributes, all 100%. All other incarnations, all other demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, all these, not Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and all other incarnations, they have got, some have got 50%, some have got 64%, but Lord's attributes are all 64. He is Swayambhu. He is actually Swayam Bhagwan, rather, not Swayambhu. So this is the analogy of sun god, sun disk, and sun rays. Sun god is Bhagwan feature of God realization. The sun disk is Paramatma feature of realization or super soul, and the Brahma Jyoti or the sun rays are Brahmajyoti realization or Brahman realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the analogy here. I think we have again overshot the time, so it's 10:20. So if any other question, I will answer.
Okay, Prabhuji, okay, understood. So the personality of Vishnu is also, is he a avatar of Krishna, or the same name of Krishna?
Prabhuji, I'll just tell you that this is all given in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Now, how come it happens that Lord Krishna is causeless, Adi Purush? There is no cause behind him. There was no existence of any creation before him. So the first, what he happens, first he expands into Balram. Then Balram expands into Sankarshana. Then thereafter there are Pradyumna, Vasudev, then Pradyumna and Aniruddha. This is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. From Sankarshana, first Sankarshana, second Chaturvyu emanates. That is another Balram, second Sankarshana. That is how Mahavishnu takes a form. From Mahavishnu, 3 Purusha avatars take place. First Purusha avatar is Karnak Dokshai Vishnu, second is Garbhado Dakshai Vishnu, and third is Shirok Dakshai Vishnu. Now, the Karnak Dokshai Vishnu, from his body, the body spores, lot of water drops come out and they form millions of universes. From Garbhodakshai Vishnu, just the picture we saw, the Vedic cosmology picture, that from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from his navel, a stem of lotus flower takes birth, and this lotus flower at the top of this there is a flower, and Brahma is born. He is the first living entity. And from these stem, there are 14 planetary systems, which we just now saw. Earthly planets, 6 above, 7 below. So these are 14 planetary systems. They are, and Garbhodakshai Vishnu enters into each universe and is the collective soul of collective super soul of all the universes. From Karnak Dakshai Vishnu, the Shirok Dakshai Vishnu, he is the individual soul of all living entities. So this is how the incarnation Lord Krishna has expanded. And this is given in chapter Canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhuji.
Okay, so like did not understand, Prabhuji, that why are the followers of Lord Krishna called Vaishnavas? Vaishnav name, it has come from where?
Because they are worshippers of Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu is an incarnation or expansion of Lord Krishna. So they are called Vaishnavas.
Okay, it's an incarnation of Lord Krishna. So it is another name of Lord Krishna. Can we say that?
In fact, Krishna who appeared in, Dwapar Yuga, he is also an expansion of original Krishna, who is transcendently situated in his abode Goloka Vrindavan. Only when we read a little more and more, then only probably these doubts will be clear, Prabhuji.
That's why I'm asking you, Prabhuji. The doubts are there. That's why I'm asking you. You are more learned. Whatever I can gather from
I'll
you.
just recite to you the first verse of chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Janmadhyas yetu anvyad atratas चार्सेव अभिज्ञ स्वराट तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कविये मुह्यन्ति सूर्य तेजो वारि मृदाम यथा विन्मयो यत्र सर्वो अमृषा धामना स्वयं सदा निरस्त कुलकम सत्यम परम धीमहि. The absolute truth is धामना स्वयं सदा निरस्त कुलकम. The absolute truth, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is eternally situated in his abode Goloka Vrindavan. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviye Surya. He gave the knowledge of Vedas to the heart of Lord Brahma, who was the first creation of Lord Krishna. So this is how it is happened. When we learn more about origin or the creation, then we can learn who is expanded form. And there are principal 21 incarnations of Lord Krishna, and in that Lord Rama and all those are included. Lord Rama, Lord Buddha, and even Kalki is to come 21st Avatar. So this only when we have inquisitiveness, we read more and more. There is a website, Vedabase online. Online Vedabase, you type in the Google Chrome. All the books written by Prabhupada, they are available on this website, and you can read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavadgita, as it is, so many other books. We have to stop, Prabhuji. It's over. So I'll stop the recording here, and before we close, let us pray to all Vaishnavas. वांछा कल्पितरूपेश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनुत्कृष्ट वैष्णव ग्रंथ की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज। प्रभु हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा माता जी, प्रणाम टू ऑल ऑफ यू।